everybody. I'm making this message to talk about a bunch of different things. And I was trying to decide what I was going to do today because I want to share some kind of journey into the energies. And my guides were saying, okay, Abby, you need to get caught up on those Tucker Carlson comments. And I was like, okay, I can do that. So I was reading the comments and I really appreciated all the diversity, because I'm not surprised that if I post a video on Tucker Carlson, it's going to get dislikes, it's going to get likes, people are going to have their own opinion. And I appreciate the questions too. And so I thought, you know what, why not talk a little bit about this, but not spend a whole lot of time on it, because I'm a diverse person and I like a lot of avenues. I really, I strive to really embrace everything about this human life. To be alive as a human being is a blessing. So all of this about, I want to get out of here, I'm never going to come back, it's the last time I reincarnate, you're missing the point. The point is to embrace every single aspect of this life. You being here in life itself is a blessing. Everybody in this world is a blessing. I struggle with that one. Everybody does on some level. You could have a very abusive person, and how could you appreciate that soul for being an abuser and the ways that they create the domino effect of chaos? And how are you going to deal with that? That doesn't make being a human being very fun. And then we look at all the structures of society and it's just so bogus. It's so complicated. It doesn't have to be this complicated. It could be so simple. It could be all about love and what is truly the voice of love, right? Is Tucker Carlson truly a genuine voice of love? So there's different spectrums of how we express love. So love could be challenging what is right or what is wrong. It's expressing a version of an opinion that doesn't always make people feel comfortable. I don't mind that stuff. I don't mind really looking at this judicial system, this political system. How is it working for people? How do people feel living in this type of society? Are people comfortable living in this type of society? Do they have the freedom to be themselves? What does that even mean? Because some people are free to be themselves, but they're destroying everyone in their path like a freaking lawnmower to the grass. And they're totally selfish, totally entitled. So does that make it right? And how do you help people to see who they are from the inside out? And how do we create actually a society of love? Because we've got so much monkey business going around here that I want to actually fully embrace this. I want to really see from the spectrum of what creates each and every individual human being on the planet. What is the inspiration for them to be this face forward? What else is deep down inside of themselves? What are they not working with? What are they influenced by? Is that a full representation of love? And what is the spectrum of love? Because love isn't just grandma bakes cookies. I love the time with grandma. She's always sweet and nice to me, always hugs me. Sometimes love is, what are you doing to yourself? Why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you saying those things? Why are you talking that way to yourself and to other people? Why are you being rude right now? It's holding people accountable and putting people in their place. We have to have in society people who challenge the status quo, and there's going to be people in society who try to take whatever they can take and then leave you with nothing and then blame you for leaving yourself with nothing, okay? So we have this spectrum of reality, and that's all spiritual, I'm a spiritual person, and to live as a human being and embrace all this complexity and to learn and grow in the midst of all this complexity, and to not see it as this dark, uncomfortable side, but as this invigorating, like full of potential experience, that gets me going. You know what I mean? That makes me feel alive. And one thing that you learn over the years, some people are going to be born into having certain talents, and what are they going to do with those talents? And rich people aren't necessarily the worst people in society. There are definitely rich people who are using their money for all the wrong reasons, okay? They're creating a controlling society, an imprisoning society, and a slave society. But there's people who are trying with all their heart to follow their soul's guidance, their higher self's guidance, their spirit guides' guidance, their ancestors' guidance. Tucker Carlson has ancestors, spirit guides, higher self. Joe Biden has spirit guides, ancestors, higher self. Everybody is working with the diverse spectrum of love. Love or chaos. We're trying the best that we can to be human. We're trying the best that we can in these complex circumstances, so we can smile and we can get swept away and we can have fun with this freaking messy adventure, or we can hate it, loathe it, stay in our house, want it to disappear. It's just whatever you want to do with your life, So I had a question about who was the angel, who were the goons. And in the energy world, they aren't going to identify, this is that, and this is this, because it's for us to explore and digest the meaning of it all. And even after my own personal reflection on that, the whole journey. Okay. All the energy of my conversational style is shifting, so I gotta just wait a minute and catch up with myself. Okay. So we have this representation of the goons. And the goons are whatever the influence is to try to reduce the ability for freedom of speech. And some people don't like Tucker Carlson, so if his voice is silenced, what do you do? That's the point. If his voice is silenced, that's a big deal. Now, what is freedom of speech? We have the right to manipulate people if we want to, right? Because that's freedom of speech. If you're using your speech in order to scam somebody, if you're using your speech in order to influence people to, not realize what they're getting themselves into and then personally blame it, that's freedom of speech. That's real freaking cruelty right there. That's no heart at all. We even live in a society where there's a lot of that. And there's a lot of manipulation on what is freedom of speech and how can we work with freedom of speech. So let's say you're somebody who doesn't agree with this whole woke movement. And you don't agree with the torture and desecration of children as though a 5-year-old can make lifelong decisions for themselves. And that they could remove their own penis, right? That they could start taking puberty blockers. What does a 5-year-old know about this? Why are we pulling children into this adult mayhem? Children are sweet and innocent. They need swings. They need slides. They need some ice cream every now and then. They need Uno cards. They need cookies with grandma. And that's what love is, right? And so who am I to say I know what love is? How dare I say that, I think we all can agree we know what love is, though, because that is love. And so how dare I, for instance, disagree that a child can make their own sexuality decisions? Well, if I don't disagree with it, and I just say, okay, what other things can I just not have an opinion about, not have a voice about, and things can just happen? I have to be the person that I was born to be. The person that I was born to be is somebody who's meant to care about this stuff, is meant to pay attention to this stuff, is meant to say something about this stuff. I love people who worked their butt off to be true to themselves. And there's amazing transgender people. There's amazing gay, lesbian people. There's no doubt about that. The fact that I even have to say that is ridiculous. But I'm not in agreement with a society that's using freedom of speech in order to imprison people into losing their ability to know who they are anymore. We're not bringing out the best in people. We're bringing out the fears and the insecurities, and the safety nets is a desecration of oneself, the desecration of one's identity. How dare I say that, right? How dare I say those things? I should be silenced. I should be removed from society. Why do I even care? Oh, I totally care. I totally care because I have kids and I'm witnessing this, and this is very, very bad, okay? And so these are things that matter to me. Thank you all for giving me the space to just be Abbey normal, okay? Because I am Abbey normal. I am a freaking person who is intrigued by the human race, intrigued by what people are afraid of, what they embrace, how they become strong people, what makes a person like Tucker Carlson, what makes people agree with him or disagree with him, what makes people appreciate me or not appreciate me. I'm intrigued by stuff like this. This is like the spice of life, you know what I mean? This isn't... I'm gonna be scared of it. I want to embrace this, So in my work, obviously, I'm an energy healer. I do an intuitive look at whatever you got going on there, so we can see beneath the surface. So this Tucker Carlson thing, I'm looking beneath the surface because I'm just curious to see what this means in society. Because he did work hard to become the person that he is. If his parents are, I don't know, CIA or whatever, I know I didn't grow up to be my parents. I am nothing like my parents, but I'm also kind of like them because we're funny people. We are practical people, but I'm a really odd spiritual person, to practical, organized, hardworking people that they just don't venture in that area. That's fine. That's them. This is me. I got to be me. So I don't think that necessarily CIA was intended to be evil. I think CIA was intended to bring people in who are wanting to work for the government and have an alternative experience, and that was their sole path. And whatever happens behind those closed doors. I think in today's society, we're ready to open those closed doors so we can finally get access to information, but we're not allowed to have access to information. Once information is controlled And then we start controlling each other and shutting people up and degrading people and trying to use techniques of judgment to make people wither away and feel small. You know, it's like all this stuff is promoting the ultimate goal of imprisoning the human race. It's all about slavery. Is this conspiracy theory, or do we just simply know this stuff? Like, we know what brings out the best in people, and we know what brings out the worst, and we know we're in the midst of a weird freaking situation here on Earth. I just gotta follow my heart, you know? Anyway, so Tucker Carlson, vibrationally, I'm almost done with this. He represents an angelic representation. Okay, so he does. He just does. He is born into a scenario. His life path is a part of a scenario where he needs to be in this news arena. He needs to be an investigative journalist. He needs to work with his humor and his personality to do things to bring out the truth that is beneath the surface. And we are working with a weird time where we don't know what is a man or what is a woman anymore. That's how weird society is getting. If I don't say something, then what is the point of my existence? I came here to be human and to say I agree with this and I don't agree with that. And Tucker Carlson is doing the same thing. I relate to him. I see the spark of light within him. I see what he's trying to accomplish here. I see what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm not necessarily, freaking viral, you know what I mean? But I'm myself, and I'm following my heart, and I'm doing everything right. And so the goons are the types of people that want to disorient our clarity on what we have a right to say or what we don't have a right to say. And how dare you think like that, and how dare you speak like that. And nobody seems to know anymore how to talk. And we're all just hiding away, waiting for this to go away and waiting for this to stop. But things don't just stop. We make them stop, okay? You make the abusers stop. You have to. In the human world, we have these like boundaries that we require, okay? And sometimes toxic people, you got to create a boundary. But sometimes you also have to tell a toxic person that they're toxic. Do we have a right to tell them that? Or maybe we should just let them be whoever they are and just let life figure it out. But those are the type of people that surround themselves with more and more and more of these types of insecure people. And then they just grow and grow and grow like a freaking cancer. If we don't tell these people to stop and we don't tell these people no, then what is our spiritual duty? Just to live in just the beautiful love with grandma and the cookies is genuine freaking love therapy. There's no doubt about that. We all need that. We need that freaking morning till night, till morning till night. We need that love therapy. We also need to live. And sometimes nature is cruel. You know what I mean? Like let's say the farm scenario. And we don't have Walmart. We're not living in a society where you get access to all these goods and services. You actually have to go out there when the rooster crows, work your butt off, you know, get that farm going so that you might have some food to help you survive a winter. So nature is harsh, and that is divine truth. So why would God do that to us? Why would God give us a drought or a tornado or a hurricane? Why would God do that to us? Because God loves us. And that is the angelic way, and that is the natural way, and that is nature, right? And so we know this. We know that we couldn't hold it against God, or we couldn't hold it against nature for making our lives difficult. You can't really tell nature who's boss, right? And so what do we do when we bring all this nature stuff into day-to-day life reality and with people, right? Because people are extraordinary souls, right? So when they resurrect into the spirit realm and we see the light of their almighty angelic selves, but then we see the human person that they were striving to be. Maybe they weren't striving to be that, but they ended up becoming that, and it was abusive. It was bad memories. It wasn't great. What is life all about if it's not about learning? It's not about saying yes or no and having self-respect and expecting respect from others. And if others don't respect you, then they aren't for you. You can't change people. They have to decide who they want to be. Anyway, thank you all so much for the space. I needed to do that video. Even my guys were like, are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, yes, I am sure I want to do this because I want to make content that's diverse. I am completely a different person every single day. I don't know what I'm going to be interested in. I have such a creative spectrum. I am everywhere and I'm interested in everything. And I want to provide, content that's diverse. So it's not always going to be your thing, but you got to find out what your thing is. What makes you sing? What makes you love to be alive as a human being? My life has not been easy. My life has been so freaking hard. Why is it that I can smile? Why is it that I can be happy? Why is it that I can love people no matter what? Why am I intrigued by all of this stuff? Because I chose not to turn my back on it. I chose not to hide away from it. I chose to just live with it. I lived with the pain. I accepted the pain. Sometimes it takes my breath away and it makes me feel like I'm disconnected and distant and I need to find myself again. But sometimes it's like once I find myself again, just like the ebb and flow of the tide, I find myself again, and it's like, this is why I came here. I came here to live in these extremes and to survive it and to be broken, to be repaired and to be built back better and to see things in my own way and to speak in my own way. I have to exist here. I have to have a voice here. It's just something I need to have. So something everybody needs to have is purpose. Whatever you're afraid of in your life and whatever is breaking you down inside your heart, it's like, don't let other people break you down. And don't let your actions and decisions break you down. Let yourself be the solution. Let yourself really take a look at things from the heart and decide, is this me loving myself? Is this me avoiding? Is this letting toxic people control my life? Is this, because all this whole conversation is all about the spectrum of love, the angel versus the demon, the goons who are trying to manipulate our understanding of freedom of speech so we don't even know what's real, what's not real, what's right, what's wrong anymore. We don't even know what a man or a woman is, and we're just letting all these rules and regulations now dictate what's going to happen to our children, and this is a freaking nightmare. And we're all asked to just step back, let it happen, let our children be abused. I can't do that. I can't live like that. So I am constantly sending out energy. I'm constantly sending out, whether I make a YouTube video or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm doing this stuff all the time behind the scenes. And I'm helping people, clients. I'm helping people find out who they are, find out what drives them. You know, we have to be our individual self, not our, to be our individual self. I am my own person. I am my own abnormal person. And I'm not trying to be on a right or on a left or to say this is the way it has to be or that is the way it has to be. But I am here to say what feels right to me and what doesn't feel right to me. Kid says that's a bad touch, right? Well, it's not that big of a deal. You need to just let it go. That's not a bad touch. How dare you say that's a bad touch? You know, this is like we have to take honor and ownership of what really is right and what really is wrong, okay? What really is right and what really is wrong? Does the seed that we plant in the ground, could we just forget about it and it just grows into a tree? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes just nature does it for us, right? But we know what the algorithm is. We know what the recipe is that helps things to truly grow. We know kids need love. They need support. And we know society, this isn't really the right rhythm. This isn't the right society. This isn't what brings out the best in people. We know this. So of course, why would we get caught up in all this political stuff? It's not helping the world. Why would we put energy into it? Because our world is built upon these structures. Our world is built upon these structures. So if I just ignore it and I live in my own world, I could do that. But that's not my calling to do that. My calling is to do something with my voice or do something with my heart or do something with my passion. And people will hear it or people won't hear it, and that's okay. I'm doing what I came here to do. I'm saying what I came here to say. It's like I was saying about we know what makes healthy people. We know the structure isn't working. We know that money is it's a tool that either we value money more than we value what we are trying to accomplish in life in order to give back and to help the world, or we value money and getting more and more money. We don't care about anybody but ourselves. So that we already know there's all different types of human beings at all different aspects of society, from the bottom to the very top. And what is genuine love? What truly is love? What is it? Is it just heaven and that's it? Or is it all this conflict and all this mayhem and all this weirdness and the power to have a voice? Or the power to say, I don't want anything to do with this, I'm going to keep out of this. And sometimes we have to be immersed in it. Sometimes we have to say something. Sometimes we have to say freaking no to this. And that is going to require some people to be interested in this political game, okay? And some people to be interested. I'm interested in the psychology aspects. I'm interested in what inspires a human being to love or to fear love. I'm inspired in that. I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired by what makes a soul and what animates a body. I'm interested in those things. But that's not all my life is. My life is also living in the structure of society and having to survive here. and working with memory and hope for the future and accepting whatever comes next, you know? There's so many wrenches thrown into things, but we have to believe in each other and we have to trust that everything is happening for all the right reasons. And I value every single one of you. Whether it was your thing, the Tucker Carlson thing, or it wasn't your thing, I value you. So thank you. Thank you for just being who you are. And yeah, so I guess I just needed to say that. Wow, I talked a lot longer than I expected to talk about this. I mean, maybe this is just a video in and of itself. It's about freedom of speech. Yeah. I guess this is all about freedom of speech right now. You know, sometimes we have to take a step and then see what happens next. And sometimes we just need to make a decision and it's not going to please everybody. And people, you know, when I came out of the woodwork and I started to expose the real spiritual person that I was, because I hid that inside me, because for me to just be who I was in society, like in external, like for me to be who I am inside myself, fine. But for me to, you know, the cat's out of the bag and I talk to invisible people and they talk back and I'm learning about what wisdom is and what is enlightenment and what creates an empowered human being. And I'm intrigued by this. I'm intrigued by what I'm discovering. People don't have a freaking clue what the heck you're talking about. Who the heck are you? You fall off the turnip truck. And I want to be loved and I want to be respected and appreciated. I kept that inside because I knew people couldn't understand. And so I gave them the room to not understand. I comforted them by not being myself. Well, I can't do that. I have to be myself. And if they love me enough, then they will love me for being me. And if they can't love me for being me, they don't know what love is. And so I had to come out of the closet. All right. It's like a transgender person or a gay or lesbian person back 20 years ago. That was still a really hard life path. And very few people were actually associated with that life path, truly, genuinely, authentically so. And what a freaking struggle they've been through. They deserve to be applauded a gold medal. These are the type of people that aren't for desecrating children. They aren't for whatever this like Halloween costume sideshow is. Because that isn't bringing out the best in people. It's causing people to live in a fantasy. And our human race has to be built upon what makes the farm work. Not let's daydream all day long and pretend the farm is just going to grow itself, or we don't have to pull the weeds or, you know, irrigate the land or anything like that. We just let nature do it. And when nature doesn't do it right, then, well, that must be nature's fault because I couldn't possibly be doing something wrong. You see the different parallels about what creates a strong world that is growing healthy is we have to be involved in it. And we have to have an opinion about it. We have to work together. We have to be flexible with each other's place and where each other is at. And I have to be me. And what me cares about most is when people can find a way to be their individual self. Find a way to be their voice. Find a way to be their opinion. Not because there's no room for any other opinion, but because there's a right and wrong to life. There is a genuine right and wrong. It gets confusing because politics is way out of whack. And so it represents a wrong, but is the tools that we're working with to build a society. And we're spiritual people and we know what love is. So it gets even more confusing when you bring in people like Tucker Carlson. I understand that. Because he represents what's wrong with the world, but he doesn't. He actually is working through that branch of the tree to try to make something right. And that's how I translate him. And the goons are the ones that want to control our idea of what freedom of speech is, our ability to see through the masks that people wear, and to see the ones that wear the most masks as the most favorable. The weakest links to society, let's build those people up instead of appreciating the people who work really freaking hard to have what little they have. There's some freaking amazing people, and there's a lot of people that are struggling each and every day that are amazing people. And there's people that take advantage of everything that get more perks and more benefits. And then there's so many more seeds being planted that are disorienting our ability to know what's real, what's good, what's right, what's wrong, what's a man, what's a woman. Obviously, we can put our, energy into this. You don't have to put our energy into it. It's just a circus sideshow. But I better say no to what I believe is no. And I better say yes to what I believe is yes. And if my heart's moving me to speak about it, then I better speak about it. Otherwise, I'm just putting myself in a freaking box. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be myself. Okay, I guess I did my freedom of speech chat. Thank you all so much. I have a feeling that we've got a full moon coming up, and maybe this whole message about freedom of speech is a full moon inspiration, a collective inspiration. Speak up. Love yourself. Surround yourself with people who love you and respect you. We know what love is. And sometimes we're still learning and understanding what love is. Because how can we truly love every single person on this planet, even if they're trying to destroy us and destroy humanity and destroy society? They don't love themselves and they don't understand what love is. So we have to be really tough love on them. But we can still understand that their soul is going through a life, and we can still respect that soul path. But we have to guide those souls too. Even fully grown adults are freaking nightmares for this planet. We have to guide these fully grown adults. We have to be the mothers and fathers for them and guide them like they're children that need guidance. It's really weird. All right, I've said enough. Thank you guys so much. Freedom of speech. I think that's a whole overall message here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I wish you well. I wish you an amazing day. Bye for now.